Hello everyone. Today we're going to be looking into French National Day, le 14 juillet. I would like to first ask Petra, Ashley and Nelvin what they know about French National Day. So what do you know or can you guess about French National Day?
Is it related to the French Revolution?
Okay, that's a very good guess.
That's what I thought. I thought it's like Les Mis.
For me, Les Mis is, I really like it as a musical. Do you sing?
So it wasn't really a musical at the time. It was made into a musical, but I don't think people were singing so much when it happened.
I think so either.
All right, so yes, you do have a good vague idea about what French National Day is all about. At least that's one part of it, one aspect of it, is linked to la prise de la Bastille. So I have prepared some questions and you have 4 answers and I would like you to pick the correct answer. So question number 1. What year was the 14th of July made National Day in France? So we'll start with Nelvin. What do you think your answer is?
You know, my history is really bad, so world history is worse. I'm just gonna...
Make a wild guess.
I'm gonna say it's 1789B.
So I know that the revolution was 1789 because that was the code for the coffee machine at school. And but I don't know because the way you phrased it, like made national days, I don't know if that was the same year as the revolution or a bit later to celebrate the revolution.
So, clever thinking there.
You're
what would
tricking
be your
me.
answer?
So my answer is I'm gonna stick with B, same as Nelvin.
Okay. What about you, Ashley?
Well, I was also going to go for B because I've been reading Outlander and I know what century that is, and like nothing's happened then and they're still in the bourgeois, and then even when she returns it's still bourgeois, so I thought, yeah, roughly around this time.
Yeah. So you're all correct in thinking that because National French Day is related to the Revolution, 1789 is a very important date. But Petra, you were right in thinking that it was actually made National Day in 1880.
Wow, that's 100 years later, almost.
Yeah, it's quite a long time.
Yeah, because they decided on different dates and they had to eventually make a decision. What does the 14th of July commemorate?
Okay, well, before you said ending of the monarchy,
Mm-hmm.
I think also storming of the Bastille.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's more or not. I feel like it's a trick question. It could be like all of them, and that's why you're celebrating like all these different events you're celebrating on the 14th. So I'm not sure. Maybe Federation Day as well.
I had the same way of thinking as Ashley, so I'm thinking end of monarchy and storming of the Bastille. But I don't think it's Federation Day. I think that would be something separate. And Guillotine Invention Day, I really hope it's something separate.
Okay.
Because that would be a very weird holiday to discuss.
It would be, yes. Nelvin?
I had the same C and D in mind, so end of monarchy and storming of the Bastille, courtesy of your hints.
So, actually, the 2 most important events that are related to is Federation Day and the storming of the Bastille. And as a result of the storming of the Bastille, and actually the monarchy slowly, first of all, the monarchy had to accept that it didn't have full power anymore. So it gradually went towards the end of the monarchy. And nowadays we can associate to it. So I would say that's also sort of the correct answer. Although it's not exactly what it's commemorating as such as a date of the 14th of July, because on the 14th of July the monarchy was not ended. Whose head was cut off by a butcher's and carried up to the Palais Royal on the 14th of July 1789? So this is on the storming of the Bastille.
I have 0 clue. Who are these people?
French.
I was gonna say king, A, but I'm gonna second guess myself and say B, Governor de Launay.
I was actually gonna go Governor de Launay. It's just a gut instinct.
All right, and Petra?
So I'm left with the governor or Necker. So just to be different, I'm gonna say Necker.
Okay. Well, the correct answer is B, Governor de Launay. And this is exactly what I was saying before. So yes, the idea was to get rid of the monarchy, but it was not just that. It was sort of the revolution was just like sort of questioning everything again. And yeah, so the governor was the one who was targeted. Well, one of the people. There were several people that were whose heads were decapitated, and this one was cut off with a knife. His head was cut off with a knife and then carried.
Not with a guillotine.
No, not with a guillotine. A little bit more gruesome, I think. On the 14th of July, 1790, how many people took part in the banquet in the Jardin de la Muette? I can tell you it's not a super small garden, but it's also, I mean, it's one garden, right, in Paris. So you have to think how many people can fit in one.
I'm debating between C and D, so 22 or 222,000, because I think like with today's numbers, like just considering how many people live in Paris now, 222,000 wouldn't be too far off, but this was more than 200 years earlier. So I'm going to say 22,000, so C.
Okay. Nelvin, you may go next.
When I heard Petra's reasoning, I find flaw in my own reasoning. I was thinking
mine isn't necessarily correct.
I was thinking between B and C because I never thought 222,000 was a valid number, even like it didn't come in. Because even 22,000, I was like, sounds like a lot. I mean, yes, it's a big event, but this is 1 year later, and it's 200 years ago. I will go with my gut instinct and say 2,000. Yeah.
Okay. So answer B. All right. And Ashley, what do you think?
So before you told us like, oh, think of gardens in Paris, I was going between C and D. And then when you said that, I thought, okay, maybe think a bit smaller.
I mean, we do have big gardens
fit in. And so because 22,000 still stuck in my head, I'm going with that.
Okay. All right. Well, the correct answer is, and some of you have guessed this quite well, answer C, 22,000. So yes, the gardens are not tiny, but it would have been very, very crowded. And they had a huge banquet with, like a ball atmosphere in the evening. Where does the military parade traditionally take place?
I kind of automatically thought the Champs-Élysées, because Champs-Élysées is like big street. I think that's where the parade would go.
Same thinking as Ashley. So I think it's the Champs-Élysées, because what I remember, it's quite a wide road, a lot of pretty famous and important buildings, and I think like that would make sense to have a parade there.
So the options, I know them by their name, but I don't know how they look.
So you
have to go to Paris.
Well, except Notre Dame, because you see it in the cartoon. In
the Disney film.
I was choosing between A and B. I like A better because of the word champ. There, it sounds like champion, so it sounds like somewhere where these things will happen. So actually, I was thinking of A as well.
Okay. All right. Well, the correct answer is Les Champs-Élysées, and that's exactly what you said. It's because it's a long avenue, and there's also very symbolic. So at along the Champs-Élysées, there are lots of different symbolic elements that are also linked to history. What is the name of the French national anthem sung on the 14th of July?
When I look at A, B, C, D, my first choice is D. Like, I don't know what they all mean, but my first choice is D.
So I don't actually know this, but I'm guessing it's C, because like Paris is like the city and Marseille is the city, and so I don't think it's those, and they're going against the bourgeois, so I'm guessing it's La Republican.
I think, and I'm pretty sure it's D, La Marseillaise.
Yes, and you would be correct. It is.
Thank God.
Which is sort of, I deliberately went for words like Parisienne, bourgeoise, républicaine, because I thought it might be options you would pick. But actually, it's La Marseillaise. Which of the following figure was present at the Champs-Élysées parade last year?
For it to be so significant that you're asking us a question, it must be something really crazy. So I'm going with A, 1,069 vehicles.
I was thinking along the same lines as Nelvin, so it has to be something ridiculous. But I'm going to say the planes, because 67 planes, even when they fly in formation, I think that's a bit ridiculous. And I think this is the exact kind of thing that they would have so many planes at.
Makes sense.
French flag going in the sky and things.
Yes.
I'm going to...
Have you seen that before? Because it's exactly that. There is the French flag.
No, I think they do that in every country. We
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
like going in August as well. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was thinking along the same lines. I was debating between the planes and the military, because I was thinking maybe it's not so common to have the military from the two. But because Petra said planes, I'll go with military, just to be different.
Ooh, we all
Okay.
pick different answers.
Ooh. Well, one of you is correct. Petra, you are correct.
Yay!
So last year in 2019 there were 67 planes, also some on top of that there were helicopters, but I don't remember how many, and the vehicles, there were actually only 169. However, the horses, you're right, that's not a lot. There were 237 horses.
Yeah, sounds a bit more correct.
Yeah.
And military men and women, they're actually a lot, because it's including the marine, and they have this whole sort of orchestra band thing, and altogether it was 4,299 men and women parading last year.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes. How much per minute did the 30-minute long fireworks show cost Paris in 2019? Go ahead, Nolan.
I think usually these things we think they're really cheap, but I really don't.
No, we don't.
think they are. So
Definitely.
I'm gonna
They're
try.
really expensive.
So I'm actually going with D, because it's probably going to be really expensive and costly. For 30 minutes, it's going to be majestic, I think. So I'm going with D, 81,000.
I think I'm gonna go with D as well, because like 25,000 multiplied by 30, that's still not a lot of money. But 81,000 multiplied by 30, that is quite substantial.
Yeah.
I was also debating between C and D, because I know it is very expensive, and I do think it was in the millions. I would go with D.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so the correct answer is C, 25,000.
Aww.
But you must also still, okay, you have to think this is just for Paris, but then every other little village or city, not only in the Paris area, but in the whole France, will be also having fireworks. So there you go. That's what the 14th of July is all about.
And in the end, the Fork and Tomatoes became very popular because people from all over the world subscribed to their videos, and they liked every video too. And you know what else? They shared all their happy and lovely thoughts in the comments. And they clicked on the bell so they wouldn't miss a thing and get notified every time a new video was released. So in the end, the Fork and Tomatoes lived happily ever after. The end.